Hello students, today we are going to start our lecture with topic number 3.9, electric energy and power. Students, we use electric energy for various purposes. In our house, we use electric energy for watching TV, to run AC, washing machine, to light bulb, etc. Now, we know that the work done per unit charge is stored in the form of electric potential energy. This concept we have already studied in our previous lecture of chapter number 2, and we have this formula U is equal to Q into V. So work done is stored in the form of potential energy, and that is given by Q into V. But what is Q? Q is equal to IT, and so writing IT in place of Q will get work done or energy is equal to VIT. Let us give this equation number 1. Now, according to definition of power, power is defined as the energy per unit time, either energy per unit time or work done per unit time, that is power. So here also we have written power P is equal to energy per unit time. Now, power P is equal to V into I can be obtained from equation number 1. Simply you can see here, if we will bring this time from right hand side to left hand side, then it will be energy upon time. So that is power, and what is remain here? V into I. So power P is equal to V into I. So this is one form of the equation of power which relates V and I. But if we use V is equal to IR according to Ohm's law, then using this here we get the other form of equation of power in terms of I and R, that is I square R. Also using this here, that is in place of I, if we'll put I is equal to V by R, then we'll get this form of equation of power, that is P is equal to V square by R. So students, I hope you understand these three equations of power. Now let us consider a simple circuit. There is a resistor, a battery of voltage V or potential difference V is connected to the resistor, and if the switch is made on, the current will flow through this resistor, and so power dissipated in the resistor is given by PL is equal to I square R. When the current flows through the resistor, the power loss or the power dissipation in the form of heat from the resistor is given by I square R. You can see this equation of power. Power P is I square R. So the heat produced in the resistor due to flow of current is given by this. Now what is the power obtained from the battery when the current I is flowing? So that is power P is equal to V into I, that is power supplied by the battery. This equation which you obtained. So students, here in this case whatever the power is supplied by the battery gets converted into heat energy through this resistor. And so we can write that P is equal to PL, means power supplied is equal to power lost in the resistor. This power loss is called ohmic loss. Why it is called ohmic loss? Because it is lost in the resistor, and so it is called ohmic loss, and also that is in the form of heat energy. Now students, this is very important to understand about the commercial power transmission system. We know that the power, electric power or the energy which we use at our home, it is used in the factories, used in the schools, etc. So that power is generated in a powerhouse. So whatever the electric power is generated here, before reaching to the houses or the schools or the factories, it has to be go through these processes. And why this process is required, that is explained here. Now students, suppose the power generated at the powerhouse is 1000 watt. Unit of power is watt. So power generated is 1000 watt. So suppose for this 1000 watt the voltage is 500 and the current is 2 ampere, and we know the formula for power in terms of V and I. P is equal to V into I. So if you multiply this 500 into 2, you will get 1000. So power of 1000 watt is generated at 500 volt and 2 ampere current at point A, means at this powerhouse. Now the power generated of 1000 watt is transformed to point C with the help of transformer. Now students, what is the use of transformer? Transformer can increase or decrease the voltage. So here we are going to increase the voltage, and so here a step up transformer is used. Now if the transformer is ideal, then it will give the same power which is at point A, that is 1000 watt only. But what it will do, it will increase the voltage. Suppose the voltage is increased from 500 volt to 1000 volt. So in that case, what will be the change in current? The current will be 1 ampere. It is earlier 2 ampere, now it is 1 ampere. So once again you can see V into I, that is 1000 into 1, again it is 1000 watt. So power remained same, only voltage and the current changed. So now 1000 volt is made. Now this power is transferred with the help of cables. There are two wire cables or two line cables. These cables, they are made up of good conductors, but still there is some resistance in it. Now here suppose the resistance is 200 ohm for this both the cables in all, that is total resistance is 200 ohm. So when the current flows through these cables, some of the energy is released in the form of heat through this resistance. So that heat lost or the power lost in the form of heat is given by PL. L for loss of power is I square R. We have seen this formula in our earlier topic. What is current at present? Current is 1 ampere and resistance is 200. So I square R, I is 1 and R is 200 and square of 1 is 1 only. So 1 into R, that is 200. So power loss in the form of heat is 200. And so the total power, which was earlier 1000 watt, now 200 watt will reduce, and so power reached at point D, means here, will be 800 watt. So this much power is obtained at point D. Now again, here the voltage is very high, 1000 watt, but at our houses or for the commercial use, the voltage required is generally 230 volt, and so that voltage is to be reduced. And so to reduce the voltage, once again a transformer is used. Here now the transformer is step down transformer, means to decrease the voltage. Earlier we used the transformer to increase the voltage. Now when the transformer is used here to decrease the voltage, again the transformer is considered ideal transformer, so there will not be any loss of power. So whatever the power is at point D will be same as at point B. But here the voltage is reduced to 230 volt. Power remained same as earlier, which was at point D, that is this much, 800 watt. And so the current will be 3.5. You can multiply this to V into I, you will get nearly equal to 800 watt. Now students, question arises that why it is required to increase the voltage with the help of transformer. But before that, I'll show you some pictures of transformer, some images related to transformer. Now students, this is a simple transformer used in small circuits to change small voltages. Now when the high voltage transformers are used, this type of arrangement is made. You might have seen this type of arrangement. This is a transformer here. You might have seen this type of danger sign whenever there is a transformer on the roadside or at any place. Even this is a transformer which is used to increase or decrease the high voltages. Now students, suppose if the power generated at point A is directly sent to point D, what will happen if this step up transformer is not used? In that case, you can see here the current is 2 ampere, and whenever these cables are used and if this much current is passing through these cables having resistance 200 ohm, then the loss of power through cables will be PL. Again it is loss of power. What is current? It is 2 ampere. So square of 2 is 4 and R is 200. So here this I square is 4 and R is 200. And so 4 twos are 8. That means 800 watt loss of power will be there. And so if this much power is lost in the cables and the power sent is 1000 watt at point A, so how much power will reach at point D or B, we can say? So only 200 watt power will be reaching at that point, and this much loss will be there. So to avoid this loss, what we did, we decreased the current, and so we have to increase the voltage. One more drawback is there. If high power is lost at these cables, means more heat will generate through these cables, and if more heat is generated in the cables, then the cables can catch the fire, and so there is a chance of fire in the cables. And so it is advisable to send the power at high voltage and low current. Less the current, less will be the loss of power. I hope you understood this. Now our next topic is about combination of resistors. Students, you have studied in 10th standard about the combination of resistors. Resistors can be combined in series or in parallel or in mixed combination. First we will study about the series combination. The same process is given here as you did in a 10th standard. Now here you can see in a figure, between points A and B there are two resistors R1 and R2. Now whenever the resistors are connected in series, remember that the current flowing through the resistors will be same, because there is only one path to flow the current, and so current will remain same, but across each resistors the potential drop will be different. What is the potential across this resistance R1? It is V1, and potential drop across R2 is V2. So we can use the Ohm's law and write that the potential across R1 is equal to V is equal to IR1. Similarly, the potential across R2 is V2 is equal to IR2. You can see I is same. Here we have used Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. Now if we will add the potential drop across each resistor, that is V1 and V2, then we will get the total potential across points A and B, that is this endpoints. Potential across A and B is summation of the potential across each resistor, and so total potential drop or potential difference V is equal to V1 plus V2. Now using equation 1 here and taking out common I, we get V is equal to I R1 plus R2. Here we have kept the value of V1 and V2 and taken out common I. Now if we will bring this I from right hand side to left hand side, we get V by I on left side, and what is remained on right side? Only R1 plus R2. Let us give this equation number 2. Now for the combination, the equivalent resistance is suppose considered Rs. This S is for series because the resistors are connected in series. So in that case, we can write that the equivalent resistance Rs is equal to V by I. If we have considered these two resistors as one only now, and the total resistance is suppose Rs. So in that case we can write this Rs is equal to V by I. Now comparing this with this equation, you can simply see that here also it is V by I, here also it is V by I. So Rs is equal to R1 plus R2. So this is the formula for the two resistors connected in series, and its equivalent resistance is simply the summation of both the resistors. Now students, in general, if more than two resistors are connected, suppose n resistors are connected in series, then what is the total resistance or the equivalent resistance in series combination for these n resistors? It will be simply addition of all the resistors. Now parallel combination of resistors. Students, you can see here the two resistors R1 and R2, they are connected between points A and B. As there are two different paths, here the current will divide as I1 and I2. I1 current flows through resistance R1 and I2 current flows through resistor R2. Here, as these two resistors are between points A and B, the potential drop across each resistor will be same. Current will be different, but potential will be same. In earlier topic, that is in series resistance, what is common? Current was same, but potential drop was different. Here potential is same, current is different. So now if we'll add both the currents, we'll get the total current passing through A and B. So starting with that only, I is equal to I1 plus I2. But what is I1? It is current flowing through resistor R1. So applying the Ohm's law, V is equal to I1 R1. Similarly, applying Ohm's law for this part, V is equal to I2 R2. If we make the subject I1 here, then I1 is equal to V by R1. Similarly, if we make the subject I2 here, then I2 is equal to V by R2. So we have done same here. I1 is equal to V by R1. I2 is equal to V by R2, and putting these values here. What is common? V. So taking it out, we get V in bracket 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2. Next step is quite simple. This V is brought towards left hand side. Already I is here, so it will become I by V. And what is remained on the right hand side? It is 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2. Now I by V, is equal to 1 upon Rp. What is Rp? It is an equivalent resistance for this parallel combination. Students, we know that if it is V by I, this type of term is there, then we used to write as R. But here it is I by V, so inverse of R. And so it is 1 upon Rp is equal to I by V. So in place of I by V, if we write 1 upon Rp, then we'll get this formula for the parallel combination of resistors. In series combination, it was simply addition of the resistance. Here also it is addition only, but addition of inverse will give you result also inverse. Similarly, if there are more than two resistors, then we can write the formula in this way. We have to go on addition of this type of terms. Now our next topic is 3.11 cells, EMF and their internal resistance. Now students, here a simple chemical cell is shown to you. There are two electrodes. They are connected at points P and N, and this is the external circuit in which a resistor R is connected. So here the electrons, they used to flow in a circuit, and the energy to these electrons to move in a circuit is given by this chemical energy. So we can say that this chemical energy gets converted to electric energy. Now when the current flows through this circuit due to energy supplied by this chemical cell, current flows in external circuit as well as current flows through this electrolyte of this cell in this way. So whenever the current flows in an electrolyte from B to A, even there is a small resistance offered by this electrolyte, and that resistance is called the internal resistance of this chemical cell, denoted by small r. Now suppose students, when the current is not flowing through the external circuit, means here this current I is 0. In short, we can say that if there is some switch here and that switch is off, so current is not flowing. In that case, the potential difference across these two electrodes V is nothing but the electromotive force EMF of the cell. This EMF is denoted by epsilon. Here I is equal to 0, and so V is equal to epsilon. Students, when the current does not flow, means we can say that the resistance is infinite, and this type of condition is called open circuit condition. Students, remember this word electromotive force. Actually it is not a force, it is mismatching term here, but still it is used due to some historic reasons. Now what happens when the switch is made on? When the switch is made on, at that time current I flows through the circuit, and we know that when the current I flows through the circuit, it flows through R also. It also flows inside the electrolyte, and we know that inside the electrolyte there is some resistance called internal resistance, and so some potential drop across that internal resistance R. Potential drop across this internal resistance of a cell is IR. We know that V is equal to IR. So this much potential IR is dropped across the electrolyte, and so the potential obtained across that resistance R, that is this, is called the terminal voltage. Now the equation for that terminal voltage can be given as V is equal to epsilon minus IR. Once again students, remember the current is flowing in a circuit, means now it is not equal to 0. When the current was 0, at that time V was equal to epsilon, but now the current is flowing, and so this much potential is dropped across the internal resistance, and so now the potential across that resistance R, that is in external circuit, or we can say that across the 2 points of the electrode, is called a terminal voltage, will be equal to epsilon minus IR. Let us give this equation number 1, and here switch is made on, and so it is called the closed circuit condition. Now in this situation, the potential difference across resistor R will be equal to V is equal to IR, because we know that here the current I flows through resistor R, so V is equal to IR. Using this, V is equal to IR here in this equation 1, what we will get? We will get IR is equal to epsilon minus I small r. Now simple, make subject I, you will get I is equal to epsilon upon capital R plus small r. So this is the equation for the current flowing through the circuit when the switch is on, that is closed circuit condition. Now example number 3.5. Here a battery of EMF 16 volt is given. Its internal resistance of 1 ohm. Current drawn from the battery is I. Here these two resistors are connected in parallel. Even these two resistors are connected in parallel, and then this resistor, this and this, they are in series. Also the current gets divided across these two resistors because they are in parallel, and we have given the names for this current as I1, this as I2. Resistor here is R1, which is 4 ohm, here it is R2, again it is 4 ohm. This resistor is termed as R5. Again the current gets divided into these two branches. Let this current is I3, this is I4. This resistor is named as R3 and this is named as R4. their values are given. Now here in this example we want to find the total resistance of this, that is across points A and D. What is the total resistance that we have to find? So first we will start with these two. These are in parallel. Also these two are in parallel. So as these resistors R1 and R2 in parallel combination, formula used is 1 upon R. But here these two resistors are between points A and B, so I have used the symbol RAB is equal to 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2. Now these values of R1 and R2 are given, and so you can easily calculate, and you will find that resistance RAB is equal to 2 ohm. Let us give this number 1. Similarly, resistor R3 and R4, they are also in parallel combination across point C and D. So again, using the formula for parallel combination, 1 upon RCD is equal to 1 upon R3 plus 1 upon R4. Values of R3 and R4 are given. Putting the values and calculating it, we will get RCD is equal to 4 ohm. Now resistor RAB, RBC and RCD, they are in series. Students, you can see here, now we can consider this resistor as only one resistor between point A and B. Also between point C and D, this can be considered as one resistor. So this and this, they are in series, and so the resistance between A and D will be RAD is equal to addition of all these three resistances. You can see this equivalent figure also. Now we have obtained this RAB is equal to 2, RCD equal to 4 and RBC, which is named as R5 between B and C, that is given 1. And so the resistance between points A and D is 7 ohm, as these are in series. Let us give this equation number 3 so that it can be used later. Now suppose the resistance between A and D, that is total resistance, is now 7 ohm. EMF of the battery is given, current I that is flowing through the circuit, total current is there, and this is the internal resistance. And so EMF is equal to I into total resistance now, that is this RAD plus R. So it is simply like V is equal to IR. Here R is total resistance including this internal resistance, and now we want to find the current. So make this subject I. So I is equal to epsilon upon RAD plus small r. We have the value of epsilon. We obtained this RAD, which is 7. We have this value small r, that is 1 ohm. Using these values and calculating, we will get the total current drawn from the battery, that is 2 ampere. Let us give this number 4. Now we want to find the current through each resistor. So students, it is very simple for this case. How much is current? how much current is drawn from this battery? That is obtained as 2 ampere. Now this current gets divided into these two resistors, but here these values of resistor R1 and R2 is same, and so the current will divide equally in both these branches, and so this 2 ampere will divide into 1 ampere in this resistor, that is R1, and 1 ampere in resistor R2. So current flowing through R1 and R2 will be equal, and that is half of the total current, which is 1 ampere. Now current flowing through BC, that is resistor R5. I will show you here. You can see in this figure, current flowing through this R5 will be how much? So again this 1 ampere and this 1 ampere will combine and become 2 ampere in this branch. So we get this current across R5 will be I is equal to 2 ampere. Now current flowing through resistor R3 and R4. Now students, in this case the resistors were of same value, and so current were also divided equally. But now here the values of these two resistors, that is R3 and R4, is different. So in this case what we have to consider? We have to consider the potential difference across C and D. The potential across this resistor will be equal to the potential across this resistor, because these two resistors are across these 2 points only. So same potential will be obtained to this resistor R3 as well as to this resistor R4. So we can say that the potential is same. So starting from that, potential across R3 is V3, potential across R4 is V4, but both will be equal only. And what is V? V is equal to IR. So V3 is equal to I3R3 and V4 is equal to I4 using this Ohm's law. Now we have this value of R3 and R4. So writing this in terms of ratio and making the subject I3, we get this R4 upon R3 into I4 is nothing but it is I3, means we have simply made the subject I3 in this equation. Now putting the value of R4 and R3. What is R4? It is 6 ohm. You can see here R4 is 6 ohm and R3 is 12 ohm. So 6 upon 12 means 1 by 2. So here we get I3 is equal to 1 by 2 into I4. So it is I4 by 2. Making subject I4, we will get I4 is equal to 2I3. Give this equation number 5. Also, addition of these two current is equal to total current only. You can see here in the circuit, these two currents I3 and I4, they will again combine to get current I only, that is total current. So here we have written this I3 plus I4 is equal to I, but I is known to us, it is 2, and also we have this equation. So using this value of I as 2 and in place of I4 we can write it as 2I3. See here we have written this 2I3 in place of this I4. Now 2I3 plus I3 is 3I3, and then making the subject I3, you will get this current I3 as 2 by 3 ampere. So students, this calculation is quite simple, you can do it. Now using this value of I3, here you will get the value of I4 also. So we get the currents through each resistor, that is we obtain this I1 also, I2 also, current through this resistor, that is R5, as well as current I3, current I4. Now voltage across VAB, that is 2 points A and B, voltage across BC and voltage across CD is to be obtained. Let me show you this in the figure. We want to find the voltage across AB, voltage across BC and voltage across CD. So students, voltage across VAB is equal to current flowing through IAB into resistance RAB. We know that according to Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. But here we are obtaining the voltage across AB. So we have written this IAB and RAB. We have the values for this. Putting these values, we will get this as 4 volt. Similarly, voltage across BC is IBC into RBC. We have the values, so 2 ones are 2. So voltage across BC will be 2 volt. Similarly for VCD, we will get it as 8 volt. And hence, finally we can say that the terminal voltage, see this is not asked students, this is extra. Only this much is asked in the statement. But if sometimes it is asked that what is the terminal voltage across points A and D, terminal voltage is this voltage which is across A and D, these 2 points. This is not considered in this. Why? Because this is the internal resistance of this cell which is inside the cell. So terminal voltage is across A and D. So here we can find the terminal voltage VAB plus VBC plus VCD, that means addition of these 3. Here it is 2. So 8 plus 2 plus 4, that is 14. So we got the terminal voltage as 14 volt. Also, what is the potential drop across the internal resistance? We know that potential drop across the internal resistance is divided by IR. Terminal voltage is 14 and EMF is 16. So 16 minus 14 is 2 volt. So students, I hope you understand this example also. Whenever you watch this video, at that time you should have a rough notebook, a pen and a calculator with you, so that you can calculate the calculations given here.